How we doing, people? Just to give you an update on this crazy all-in-one machine, this Apple machine I got my hands on before Christmas. This is the motherboard for it, and didn't work. It was covered in goo. Cleaned it off. No life in it. I've had to replace the three of these A367s. That's what came out of it, even though on the motherboard they're AT97 chips. But I checked them online and I think they're some triple gate or something, so I went with the ones that are in it, and still no joy. I've got new CPUs, no joy. A new DPA304 I got yesterday. I bought a second board, got on eBay from a guy in England. This didn't work either, so I've been swapping the chips from this guy one by one, just trying to get something. And last night I had it beeping. I was getting the beep. Switch it on here, and no, it's still no good. I look up at the monitor and here's what I'm getting. Nothing. That's no good. Like, so on, bang, and you see there, comes on, and then it clears the screen, and I have a speaker plugged in. This little guy was giving me a beep last night. Now it's giving me a click. And last night it was coming on, clearing the screen to that and giving me the beep, the healthy beep. So I thought, wait, hey, I'm nearly there. Today I discovered if I took out these ROMs here from F0, E8, E0, if I took out all them, it still gave me a beep. So I'm a bit pissed off at that. No, was it them two? I'm not sure. The hope was I thought I had all those working, but it's not. It's still not working. I've gone through everything, and I reckon I just need a full set of ROMs. Simple as that. Like, so that's that board. On to the next board. This is the second board I got. I've been up to there. It's 46 week of 1980. It's different than the one I had because of where am I? Up here. There's no DBA304 chip, just these ones instead. Anyhow, this didn't work either, and I found the bloody 5 volt to ground short on the power switch, but I actually managed to fix that. And how I did it was, looking at the back of the board, I said to myself, I looked at it logically, and I tried to, I have a short from here, from the 5 volt rail here to the ground, which is here, so short in there. So I started following the trace all the way around the board, and it comes up, so you can see this, up, around and down the side here, and stops. So what I did is I started cutting traces, and I began with, where am I? Yeah, here, I don't know if you can see it. First I cut the trace here to isolate all this part. And then I found that I didn't have a short from any of this rail to the ground. So I knew then my short was up here somewhere, along here, here and somewhere in here where the trace went. So my next cut was up here to isolate all this. I still had a short. So I made that cut as well to isolate that one, still had a short. Then I started following from that trace on this side. I started following onto this side to all these capacitors, removed those like one leg, still had a short, and I kept going, and then I found that it's this rail just coming under all the ROMs. This is the 5 volts coming down here, and through a via, oh no, through that capacitor, where are we? Shit. Through this little capacitor. Fuck yeah. Give me a pointing device. My 5 volt to ground short was coming down this trace. Yeah, here we are. Coming down this trace, it went through this capacitor from here onto here. Flip over the board, and can we see that? Where am I? Yeah. It was this little capacitor going onto this little rail coming. Oh, was it fucking, which one was it? No, it was this one. Sorry, it was this one, yeah. It was 5 volt rail coming onto that capacitor going along here. Somewhere along here was the short, going under all the ROMs, and it goes to that capacitor down. And I spent all day looking at it, couldn't find, like I took out all the chips, I still had a short, and then I noticed that there's a via just along here somewhere here that goes back to the other side of the board, which is to here, no, there. So that's where the 5 volt came out, and it started coming down, and just here is where I made another cut. So I made another little cut just here. I can see where I am, fuck. So I cut that trace and my short was gone. So the short was down here, followed it down to here. Where am I? I'm trying to watch the camera. Down to here. Long story short, after about 5 or 6 cuts, I discovered that, which one was it? That capacitor was causing the short. Don't ask me how. All I knew is that when I removed that capacitor, the short went, so I replaced them, and my 5 volt to ground was gone. Convinced I had it fixed, put all the chips in, still doesn't work. But I figured out a way of finding 5 volt to ground shorts, so that was that. Next is the hard drive. Yep, here we go, this big beautiful behemoth of a thing. Again, another 5 volt to ground short on this from the, when I meter it from here, from the power socket. And the short stopped when I moved the Bourne's network resistor. So I got rid of him. I wanted to get a new spare one, and the guy in Israel flattened me and sent me fucking 20 of them. So in went the new network resistor. Still had a 5 volt to ground short. I raised up all these little wires from the board that were all neatly wrapped around stuff, just to check all those. Couldn't find anything. I replaced the 2 tantalum capacitors. This is the one that exploded, and I was advised to get rid of this one too. I've been advised on another forum now to change this guy as well. Speedy G on Apple Fitter, yeah, great guy, knows his stuff. Speedy G boy, he knows his apples big time. But chances are now it's one of these capacitors, these little green guys all over the board. I mean, any one of those could have failed, as in the Apple II, which I found. So when I get back to this one, I'm going to just desolder one leg, going around and just checking that 5 volt short, because hopefully it's just a capacitor, and I know now how to find them. And I have to be very careful because I can't find anything like this. This hard drive is a TM206, I think. There's no reference to it on the internet, and you can be damn sure I'm not going to find a replacement. And the whole point of this project is to see what's on this hard drive. So I'm just learning other stuff and working on other stuff, and I'm leaving this on the shelf basically for last. So that's the hard drive where he's at the moment. And finally is the machine, and we've got to clear off the table here to get the machine up here, and I'll show you where that's at. Okay lads, here's an update on this all-in-one machine. This is the front of it. What I've been doing with it is, well, I've been working on the original motherboard, which is an original Apple II or 2 Plus or whatever. I don't know much about them, and I still can't get them going. So what I've done is I've taken the motherboard for one of my 2Es, and I've put that in just temporarily because I wanted to see could I get a signal onto the screen here. That's the original power supply was in it. He's good. That's the analog board screen. They're all good. And that's the 2E. Now that's the Videx card, and I have it connected up to the display to see what we get. Now I actually filmed it the other day when I did this, but I thought I filmed it. I forgot to press record, so I'm just reenacting what I did anyway. And the speaker connected. I've the keyboard stuck out here on the side because the lead is too short, and I have to be so careful because I've already blown 2 keyboard ROMs for Apple II's. And I know, like, when it's on, if you do anything, if you touch the back of the tracer or anything, you'll blow the chips off. To be very careful. So there you go. I have it on, and I have that wire. See that white wire? That's wired into the back of the analog board. I also put a little cover on the back of the board, the same as the 68K Mac analog boards, just to try and protect myself from getting a shock off the back of it. But so this is it. I have the what is in there? I have the memory, the memory expansion. I have the CPM card in there as well. So anyhow, it's all wired up. And look around to the front, give you a look. Actually, we'll go on the tripod for this. Okay, so we have it all powered up. 2E motherboard in there, Videx graphics card, and yeah. Now I'll put back in the original power harness, and these switches, not knowing what they do. There's another switch on the back that know what they do. I didn't put back in the little homemade power supply because it already blew up the hard drive, and it just basically scared the piss out of me, to be honest. So we're not going to use that in the future. Anyway, here we go, power on. We get a beep, and that's all we're getting. Nothing. The switch on the back, we flick that. What do we get? Nothing. So I was at this for ages, not knowing what to do. And this little switch has 2 wires going out to the analog board for the signal and 4 wires coming out. 2 of those wires are on the back of the Videx card, and the other 2 wires were just in mid-air. I didn't know where they went. So from trying everything and out of curiosity, I decided to put one of them on the video out of the board. So when I flick the switch, there's my Apple II, and lovely. And when I flick that switch on the back again, lovely. That one inverts the screen. Drop the brightness a bit. There's our Apple II, and we have our keyboard in. Oh jeez, I'm terrified touching this. Blah 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 blah. Lovely. So I started doing a bit more research to figure out what this machine was about, and reading about the Videx card, I learnt that you have to call the card to switch on. And I'm trying to remember the commands, but it was call -154. Is that right? And that puts you into assembler mode or editor mode. There's a name on it, I forgot. And oh, what was the command? 4B control P or something. Oh fuck, I can't remember. But there was a command from here to switch on the Videx card for the 80 column display for the original Apple II. I can't remember what the command was, but anyhow, I put in the command. Excuse me. Oh shit. So anyhow, I put in the command, which would then engage, switch on this Videx card, and then you go to your higher res graphics. That was the design of it. And still nothing. So I said maybe the Videx card is dead. But then what I read further is that the Apple IIe already has this higher graphics memory. I mean, like it already has the 80 column display built into it. So I reckon then that the Videx card is basically null and void. There's no need for it in this machine. So that's where we're at the moment. I have to get the original Apple II board working to even see will this Videx card work. What else I did from there was I plugged in a hard drive to see what had happened. So we'll turn her off. And we'll just set that up for you. Okay, so this is where we have it set up now. Apple IIe, floppy controller, and the 80 column display memory expansion. That brings it up to 128k RAM. Keyboard is plugged in, stuck on the side. And we have a floppy drive plugged in there to it, so let's see what we get. Okay, recording and power on. Apple II. Looking at the floppy. Elite. There's going to be no problem putting the drives back in. The floppy goes there anyhow. But the hard drive, well, no, the floppy was in here originally. The hard drive was up there, I think. So, I mean, it's working. I mean, let's play Elite, huh? And then I'm controlling it from the keyboard here, look. Okay. Off we go, hyperspace, yeah. But it's working, like. Up, down, let's try and... It's a game I've never played. Turn around and face the space station. Look at that, like 3D graphics on an Apple II. I think that is just so sexy. Let's crash into this thing. Come on, line up to the space station. Come on, up. And rotate left is that one. Too late. Getting the odd flicker on the screen, I'm imagining the analog board has to be recapped. And the alignment here, there's 4 little controls on the yoke, I think it's called in the back. I'm not sure how to adjust them. I've been trying while it's on and I'm pretty freaked out because there's high voltage in here, like, but that's what that one does. And that's, oh shit, I'm terrified to touch it. So that's where we're at with this machine, lads. But hey, it's not a bad start. Control Alt reset. Control reset. There's our prompt. 1 0. Our massive program. Look at that. Sheer beauty. Wallop. But that fills the screen so you can see there's a little bit of a problem with alignment. But hey, it's coming back to life from where it was. So yeah, that's it. I have to recap that analog board. And I have to get that original motherboard working. Because only then will I know if the Videx card is working. But I could be wrong, I don't know, I mean, like, I know nothing about this crap, I'm just winging it as I go. So that's the update, lads. Still working on the motherboard. And as well as that, if I do get the motherboard working, I'm still fucked because I don't have a goddamn keyboard to plug into it. Look at that, look at that, lovely. Inverse that. Yeah. That's not much good inverse, is it? Can't really see much on it, like. Then that's over to the Videx card, which is now disconnected. I have him sitting here. But I think I've worked out what its main purpose was anyhow for these 2 video inputs, like I said. Start off with the motherboard's normal output, which is this. Activate the Videx card 80 column display and then flick it over to the Videx, because that's what that is. This switches 2 separate inputs for the one output to the analog board, so that's your on off switch. Cool. Okay, that's the update, lads, and we'll stick at it. Good luck.